Good evening everyone and welcome to Gundam News. And we're starting off with some big gaming news. Depending on your time zone, the Gundam Game Fest livestream will be held on May the 26th or May the 27th. And in this event, they'll be giving a lot of new information on three main games: SD Gundam Battle Alliance, Gundam Evolution, and Battle Operation 2. For Battle Alliance, we'll just get some general information. For Gundam Evolution, they'll be focusing mainly on the three available game modes, being Point Capture, Domination, and Destruction, and on the home console version. And then for Battle Operation 2, don't get your hopes up for the Steam version, because they confirmed that at this event, they'll only be giving information for the PlayStation versions. And, well, for the Steam version, more information will be coming later. So the live stream will be happening on May the 27th, 7 a.m. in Japan, and for PDT time, that becomes May 26th, 3 p.m. I'll have the link down below to both the Japanese and English versions of the live stream, and by checking out that link, you'll also immediately know what time it is for you. And the deal with covering this on my part will be the same as with the Shizuoka Hobby Show and the P-Bandai livestream. I'll try to cover it as soon as possible, but if there isn't that much new stuff, it'll probably just become part of next week Gundam news. Then, moving on to Cucuruz Doan's Island, and it's time for yet another installment of Why Is This Region Locked? Brought to you by NordVPN, the premier VPN service that helps you with dodging annoying region locks and helps you safeguard your online anonymity. And if you sign up using the link down below, you'll not only be getting a great discount, but you'll also be supporting the channel. So, on the 24th, two new 15-second commercials were uploaded to YouTube, one focusing on the mobile suits of the movie, including Char's custom Zaku 2 high mobility type R1A, and the other one focusing on the story. Both are region locked. One day later then, we got yet another 15-second commercial, this time featuring commentary by Atsushi Tamura, a Japanese comedian and big Gundam fan, and again, it's region locked. But then, on the same day, we also got a 2.5-minute video featuring a new 1-minute clip of Gop negotiating with M'Quve, which isn't region locked. So this means that you can watch one of the most important scenes of the entire movie: Federation officers laughing at M'Quve. The rest of the clip is basically Gop not willing to M'Quve's demands for him to stop trying to recapture Gibraltar, because otherwise he's going to destroy Washington, New York, and a bunch of other cities. I wonder if this means that he's again threatening to use nuclear weapons, because that would mean that he again missed the memo that nuclear weapons are actually in the Federation's favor. Which is one of the reasons why the Antarctic Treaty is what it is. Zeon didn't just give up their colony-sized ballistic missiles out of the kindness of their heart. But anyways, today they released the novel version of Cucuruz Doan's Island, and rather than just being a straight-up novelization of the movie, they also promised to give us some extra backstory on Doan and on the Southern Cross Corps. The novel is written by Kyoto Takeuchi, and as with so many of these things, there's currently no sign of an English translation. And this week, Cucuruz Doan's Island isn't the only Gundam movie in the news. Movie ticket cards of the 4th and 5th Reconguista MG movies will be simultaneously released on June the 3rd, and they've got a really nice stylized design. On to the action figure news then, where we go back to Cucuruz Doan's Island. It's been announced that both the RX-7802 Gundam and the Doan Custom Zaku will be made into Gundam fixed figuration metal composite figures, with more information being released on June the 2nd. but you can already see both of them in the promotional image. And then from the Robot Spirits side MS line, we're getting the Zaku 2 and Principality of Zeon Reconnaissance aircraft set, version anime. And it is true to its name. Rather than being based on the movie, it's based on the infamous episode of the anime. Details will be released at a later date, but as usual, we can already deduce quite some information from the promotional image. We're getting a Zaku, which will have either the option of having the normal head or the animation error head with the long snout. Bandai's really running with this now, aren't they? And then we're also getting a Lugan Scoutcraft, which is shown carrying a Zaku just like it did in the anime. But if you look closely, it doesn't seem like the Zaku is actually holding on to anything. In fact, we can be quite sure of that for the right hand because that is holding on to the machine gun. But again, this is accurate to the anime. So what it looks like to me is their solution might be to include an action-based connector that hooks onto both the Zaku and the Lugan. But pre-orders on P-Bandai will open up in early June, which is also when we'll get more details on the thing. The Robot Spirits figures then we got more information on were the Gundam EZ8 and the Gundam Ariel. Both of them are scheduled for a November release, retail for 7,700 yen each, 65 US, and should be available on Hobbling Japan by the time this video goes live. Links to buy them down below. And especially with the EZ8, we're getting a really nice amount of gimmicks and accessories. There's a standard machine gun, the ground-type beam rifle with effect parts, 2 beam sabers with 2 regular effect parts and 1 curved effect part, a shield, a parachute pack, 4 thruster effect parts, and a bunch of hands with a piece to put the spares on. And as an extra feature, the chest can also open up. For the Ariel then, we do have a written list of what's included, but the actual pictures focus mostly on the articulation that it's capable of. So we do know that it's getting a rifle, a shield, extra hands, effect parts, a replacement antenna, and an action-based connector, but what I'm left wondering now is how many of those effect parts we're going to get, because considering the price, well, considering that it's the same price as the EZ8, I would hope that we do get quite a bit. And then there's also the extra antenna. Is that just going to be a second antenna, like a second same antenna, or is it going to be something special? As for the proportions then, fans of thick thighs on mechs are definitely gonna wanna buy this. Over on P-Bandai then, on the 20th, the second wave of reservations started for the Master Grade X Impulse, and on the 24th, extra reservations started for the High Grade Rig Diaz, 1.5 Quattro Custom, and the Master Grade Rig Z Custom. And the high-grade new Gundam booster bed became available through the Gundam Base Online, which is just a section of the P-Bandai store. And then in China, on the 25th, they announced that on June the 1st, orders will be opening up for 3 limited edition Gunpla. The Master Grade Freedom Gundam 2.0, the Master Grade New Gundam version Kotoki, and the Master Grade Sazabi also version Kotoki. And other than their color scheme, it looks like the only thing that's going to set these kits apart from their standard retail version is some very ornate stickers that they come with. Prices aren't listed, but because of the things I just mentioned, I would assume they're going to be virtually the same. Next up then, I've talked about music on Gundam News quite a bit, but I believe that this week it's the first time that we're going to have a dedicated music segment. On June the 1st, we're getting Hiroko Moriguchi's Ubugoe single, and on the 23rd, she released a 5-minute digest video of the 4 songs on the CD. So if you want to give them a listen, I'll have the video linked down below. Then for the 2-Mix tribute album, Crysta-rhythm, we got some more information on the 24th and the 25th. The album will retail for 3,300 yen, 25 US, and consists of 10 songs covered by a variety of artists. And the ones that have been announced so far are Hikaru Midorikawa, Megumi Nakajima, and Angela. And they've also announced that Angela will be covering Just Communication. More information will be coming soon, but because the CD will already be released on July 27th, it'll definitely be sooner rather than later. And finally, from the Iron-Blooded Orphans Special Edition, Man with a Mission uploaded a special music video for their hit song Blaze. And I'll of course have that linked down below as well. And if you want to own that song on CD, on the 25th they released their latest album called Break and Cross the Walls. It comes with 14 songs and is available as 3 versions. A regular edition with just a CD for 3,080 yen, 24 US, a limited edition with special illustration for 3,180 yen, 25 US, and a limited first edition that comes with a DVD for 3,850 yen or 30 US. I'll have the link to buy the CD down below, but depending on the store and your location, you might have to use a proxy buying service to get it. On to the gaming news then. On the 25th, UC Engage celebrated its halfth anniversary, and for it you'll get a nifty login bonus consisting of a secret rare Engage 0 and a bunch of diamonds. And at the same time they also introduced an event gacha featuring the ultra rare Cubile, Double Zeta Gundam version, and its pilot, the ultra rare Haman Khan, Double Zeta Gundam version. And on the same day, Bamco also kicked off its digital sale on the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Switch. And included in this sale are, of course, some Gundam games. Or, to be specific, games featuring Gundam. There's Super Robot Wars T, Super Robot Wars V, Super Robot Wars X, and Super Robot Wars OG The Moon Dwellers. And today, the second season of Gundam Arsenal Base started, introducing mobile suits from Zeta Gundam, 00, and the 08th MS team to the arcade game. And here we get more amazing region-locked and non-region-locked things. For this update, they released a second information video, which isn't region-locked, but the first information video was, and still is, region-locked. I'm now convinced that for these kinds of videos, they really just flip a coin in order to decide whether or not to region lock it. But in other news, we got some more information on the mass production Rico drama series. 9 more cast members were announced. From left to right and top to bottom, there's Karen Fuji, Ayumi Mochizuki, Ayumi Nakajima, Oshiro Maeda, Erika Ishikawa, Yoshiaki Yoza, Yoshiyuki Morishita, Magi, and Yoji Tanaka. And the best part of it all is that the last 3 are described as a jet stream attack of 3 old-timers. So I guess that would make them the Black Tri Old Stars, or the Black Tri Old-timers. Leave your suggestions down below. As for the things we could get this week then, throughout the week, Gashapon Senshi Forte number 15 appeared in Gashapon machines across Japan. And for 400 yen a spin, around 3 US, you could get the Wing Gundam Zero, the Epion Gundam, a Dom, a Standard Leo, with machine gun, shield, and space backpack, a Space Forces Leo with large beam rifle, small beam rifle, giant beam bazooka, shield, and space backpack, and finally a weapon set consisting of a beam saber and split buster rifle for the Wing Zero, a beam saber for the Leos, a heat sword for the Dom, and a base to display the figures on. On the 21st then, 3 Gunpla and 1 figure were released. From the Gundam base, you could get the entry-grade Gundam base Limited Strike Gundam painting model for 770 yen, 7 US, which is a very wide version of the Strike Gundam that is mainly meant to serve as like a blank canvas for you to paint how you want it. But to be honest, because we get 2 tones of white in combination with the gray, it actually looks pretty good as is. Like, you could just call this the Cold Districts version and you got it, it's perfect. Then from Gundam Side F, there was the high-grade new Gundam booster bed for 1,320 yen, 10 US, or for 5,500 yen, 45 US, you could get the Robot Spirits RX-93FF new Gundam with all of its accessories and eye-catching new color scheme. And since Robot Spirits figures are roughly the same size as high grades, I guess you could also put this thing on the booster bed if you really wanted to. But whatever the case might be, from both the Gundam base and Gundam Side F, you could also get the high-grade Gundam Marchosias iron-blooded coating version for 5,280 yen, 40 US. It might cost you a pretty penny, but you're also getting a pretty looking model kit, as long as you can ignore the inevitable nub marks that it's gonna have. And then today we got the SDW Heroes Robin Hood Gundam H2 with its shiny bow, and the SDW Heroes Night Strike Gundam with its very striking appearance. Both kits go for 770 yen each, around 7 US. And this week's reading material was equally stacked. We got 2 new mangas, the 8th volume of Gundam NT and the 9th volume of Gundam Walpurgis. And if you're currently not watching the screen, I highly advise you to look over. And now that we have that image burnt into your memory, there was an interview with Yoshikazu Yasuhiko in the June issue of Sky Perfect TV Guide Premium, a super long interview with him in Continue Volume 77, a feature on Cucuruz Doan's Island with Toru Furuya, Shunsuke Takeuchi, and Hiroko Moriguchi in the July issue of the monthly TV Navi, another interview with Yoshikazu Yasuhiko in the Sunday Mainichi, which also got a really cool cover drawn by Yasuhiko himself, and yet another interview with him and Toru Furuya, this time in the TV Station magazine. Then there was the July issue of Gundam Ace featuring Cucuruz Doan's Island, and even comes with a little extra guidebook on it. Then there was the model graphics featuring a really cool Barzam with the gigantic arms unit, and also a special feature on the 30-minute sisters. And lastly, then there was the Shonen Sunday S special in which Gundam Aggressor is serialized, and the monthly Hobby Japan, which features the Raider Gundam and a special on the 5-star stories. What was a bit less stacked then was the Gundam Apparel. There is none. But Bankure did open reservations for the Gundam Crest series Pika. They're card holders for IC cards that have a light up function when the card is used. Basically, they intercept the radio waves that are sent out when you use the card, and then use those waves to power the light. The available designs are Earth Federation, Zeon, Char, Amuro, Neo Zeon, Vist Foundation, Mafti, King of Hearts, Earth Alliance, Zaft, Celestial Being, and Tekadon. They'll set you back 1,980 yen a piece, around 15 US, and they're slated for a July release. And then finally, let's wrap up with some Gundam polls. And first up, we had some really crazy results from a poll done by Gundam Evolution. They asked, which timeline does the Dom Trooper hail from? And more than half of the people voted wrong. Even when you account for people who were probably trolling, that is still a significant amount. 4% voted for Anno Domini, 4.5% for the correct century, and 46.3% thought it was from the universal century, which by itself is still more than the correct answer, which is of course Cosmic Era. Now, obviously, I can understand why people would be confused and vote for the universal century. Some might have just read Dom and automatically clicked universal century, and others might not have seen Gundam Seed Destiny, but they do know universal century Doms, so when they saw the Dom Trooper, they just automatically assumed that, well, it must be a variation of that Dom that I just haven't seen yet. But it is still hilarious to see the results, and to see people mixing up the Dom Trooper and the Dom Tropen. The results from the Gundam.Info poll, though, are a bit more predictable. A couple of weeks ago, they asked us which character from Cucuruz Doan's island we're looking forward to the most, and the winner is the main character himself, Doan, with 36.5% of the votes. But despite him being the titular character, it was still a pretty close call. Slegger landed in second place with a very respectable 31%. So there's really no denying Slegger's popularity after his custom gym also proved to be really popular, which is something that the author also notes. So as I've said before, let's hope that Bandai also catches on to this. In third place then we get Amuro with 27%, making this into a very close three-way battle. And then in last place with a mere 5.2% is poor Carla. But like I said when this poll was still ongoing, she's just really out of her league here. And when you think about it, seeing how she was going up against three legendary heavyweights, getting 5.2% is actually still very respectable, and I have seen entries with way less than that. Then for the ongoing Gundam.Info poll then, they want to know which one our favorite music instrument scene from Gundam is. And as so often, the standings so far are pretty interesting. In last place, with 72 votes so far, we have Mineva Zabi and her violin, closely following Hamon and her piano with 91 votes. Then in second place, also with the piano, we have Nickel with 198 votes. And this is what I found really interesting, because I feel that in the West, whenever we think about music and Gundam, the meme is usually always Nickel and his piano. He was 16 and he loved the piano. So then, who is currently in the lead, you might ask? The musical performance of Catra and Troa with 254 votes. And admittedly, this is probably the best musical instrument scene in all of Gundam, so I don't really expect too many changes in the rankings here, but if you do want to cast your vote, I will have that link down below as well. And that has been all for this week's Gundam news. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great evening, and I'll see you all next week with more Gundam news.